Testing. Sorry, YouTube. testing, both. All right, we got Instagram and YouTube. Welcome, clutter-free family to the Clarity Hotline. Let's be here now. Immediately, I need a breath. I'm just grounding down with you guys because I think the purpose of this hotline today, especially, and probably all of the ones before it, are to let you inside of my head and the way I think about things. And that is definitely the case today with just everything on my plate. I'm going to let you in on a few things as I answer this question. And we'll see how I'm thinking through this motherhood and entrepreneurship game. I think my goal is to help at least one person on this call. Okay, that's my goal. So, let me know if you have any questions as we go on. I think anyone showing up live, I'm definitely up for a chat. I'm feeling inspired to dialogue, but I do have a lot to say, so no pressure on chiming in at all. Let's pull my notes up and then we'll ground. I'll let you know what I'll let you know what the question is. I always learn something new about Chrome. I swear, whenever I'm doing this live and I haven't got myself together yet, I figure out something new that Chrome does and it throws me off. And I have to like shift the windows so that I could see the live on YouTube. And then I'm on my phone on Instagram. So I have like 3 boxes and I'm just on my laptop. So I just am making it work. But I've got like these 3 screens that I'm looking at. I want to make sure I'm seeing the comments if they come in, especially today. I know I don't take live questions all the time, or really it's been a long time since I have, but I'm feeling it today if you want to. And, whenever you're watching this, write a comment, I'll respond. Okay, so before we ground, let's talk about the question. So the question's from Taryn. How do you lighten your mental load so you don't lose your beep on your kids every day because you're so tired? I was like, okay, I get it when I read that. So I was very into answering this question. Okay, so let's get into it. First, breath in and breath out. And I want to just let you know, as you're breathing in and breathing out, there is life all around me happening really simultaneously as much as it is around you. Okay. I've got a fly in the room, gardeners outside, dogs barking, kids in the other room, taking their lunch break so that mommy can work. Okay. This is my first day of homeschooling, y'all. So this is like a real test of my sanity and my calm, my ability to stay present. It has been a test. It's been a joy. And it has been confirmation that I made the right decision to pull my son out of school. And today is his first homeschooling day. And I've had to take a breath in and a breath out all day. And it's only noon. It's only noon my time. But no, he's wonderful. And so anyway, I got him all set up. I think, what was that other one we did a couple weeks ago where I went into the question, how do I homeschool? I don't know if that was the one. I think it was even more further back, a Clarity Hotline, where we talked about how do you work when the kids are home or something like that. It was a couple weeks ago. I'll have to link them because I talked about thinking about homeschooling and how am I going to do that. Somebody asked me, how am I going to do that with a full-time job? And then a couple weeks before that, Laura asked, because I remember Laura's question. Laura asked about it, but I remember that she asked a question, but not specifically what she asked. And it was because we were dialoguing. But she said, she asked, how do you still work while your kids are home? Because with all the guilt, you didn't want to, there was like some guilt underneath that question, feeling guilty for working. And so there's both like the time management and the like emotional management of working while your kids are home. And those can be handled. Okay. So anyway, I talk about that in 2 other videos, but then today I'll definitely let you in on answering it, pretty much, how I'm handling lightening my mental load. so that I don't lose my beep on my kids every day because I'm tired. So thanks, Sharon, for that question. Finishing our breath. Take a big breath in for a count of 4. And then out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 in, 6 out at your own pace until you're grounded, centered, present. I mean, honestly, keep doing that until you are. If that's your intention for the breathing sessions, to ground and center, don't just do it because I'm telling you to do it. I'm just giving you this opportunity, since we're here now and we're wanting presence to flood us. We want clarity to flood us. So we have to be present to allow it in. That is the way it works. And yeah, so we're doing it together. We're here together on this. So breathe. And it doesn't always need this whole, 5-minute ceremony where eyes are closed, you're oming, you're chanting, you're mantraing, whatever you're saying, you're praying. It won't always need that. A breath sometimes is enough. Taking a breath in and taking a breath out with the intention of centering and calming yourself into the moment. Because that's from here, as long as I stay there for me, especially now with my son home 24/7-ish, I am finding that I'm taking a lot of breaths in with the intention of centering and grounding and making myself present to the moment. Because what did I do today? So far, all I did really, because I don't even know what I'm doing. I have my first orientation call later today, after this Clarity Hotline. So I'm not even coming into the day, with any homeschooling guidance. I've read some blogs. I've talked to several moms. I have, looked over some of the stuff that's gone in my email. There's like 20 emails just on welcoming and access links to 20 different links and how this bookmark this page. And it's just like, woo-hoo-hoo. I mean, it was a lot just enrolling him into kinder at all, let alone pulling him out of a school and like doing this all myself. As far as just like organizing lesson plans and curriculum and day-to-day routine. Like, what does that even look like? I have an idea. Our schedule, our environment's going to change a lot next week. So I'm giving us some time to just breathe. And I even recall a mom friend of mine who also homeschools told me, like, take some time. She's all, take some time. Like, even when you pull them out and you're starting homeschooling, take a breather, wait, just like relax and don't force yourself to know anything or have anything laid out. And trust me, I took that advice to heart, because today I was like, do I set up the iPad and the apps that he does his courses on? Like, I just am like, whoo, drowning. But I'm not going to let myself drown, because my lifesaver is this kind of advice of like breathing and being present. Because why did you pull him out? To bond and connect and understand him and give him what he needs as far as developing his own love of learning, is really like my intention for this. And I know we're close to the end of his kinder year. We're toward the end. We're 2 months away-ish. And I, just want it to be really great. He was really excited when I told him that he was going to be homeschooled. He was very, very pleased. He said he didn't have anybody to say bye to at school. And he did. I got a lot of pictures from the teacher of him saying bye to people. So it was very beautiful. Because, my mommy heart won't let him leave without them, just recognizing him. I don't know. That's my selfish bone, but I also know it'll give him a nice send off. And he definitely loves the attention for sure. But anyway, so today honestly, we had a conversation. I said, this is your first homeschooling day, and we're going to design it together. But today is going to be about fun and freedom. And I literally spend the day following him around. I want to know what he wants to do. Imagine that, right? Like all day you're being told and channeled or corralled into like do this, and then we move to this, and then we move to that. I mean, it's great for like, the low attention span of a kindergartner, but we all have low attention span. So when in any given day, you're not doing anything for 20 minutes straight. I guarantee it. If you clock yourself, notice how many things you've been shifting. But anyway, we're all distracted. We all have low attention spans, especially our kids who are in their essence of the way that spirit is, and spirit bounces and flows and reverberates off something and bounces back and is just free to be, just like nature, free to be, free to sway in the wind, free to stop, free to drink up the sun. And anyway, okay, so that was me going into it, but that, because it felt like that. But anyway, so my point is, I wanted to see what he wanted to do. What does he like to do? Because then I'm getting an insight into, like, it's not the weekend. So it looks different. A weekend will look different from us from homeschool days. And so I just wanted to see what he's inclined to do, naturally inclined to do. So we were outside, we played with sticks. He gets, busy doing something on his own. Mommy does her little thing on the laptop, portable, hello, and doing my little thing here and there, because my work hasn't stopped. But at the same time, I know I had some lean in on the homeschooling game. I knew I was going to do it. But it is not a week that is really, I'm prepared to kind of go all in on, like, okay, this is what we're doing, math, and then we switched it. I'm not there. So, and I still have my day to kind of get through. I have this clarity hotline that I love doing. I love coming on and seeing you guys and being here with you live. It means a lot to me. So this wasn't going to get scratched, because this is what I love. And so I get to do what I love. And that's what I'm telling myself. And this is why we're here. I'm doing what I love. And so being with him is what I love. Doing my work, my soul's work, my purpose work is what I love. And so it's just about, tempering those two things, right? Making them work together, seamlessly flowing in and out of each other as if they were meant to be, because they are. I'm meant to be in this role of mom and entrepreneur, because I felt it in my bones since I could breathe. And, I've always followed my path. And anytime something has felt incongruent, I really did follow that whim. It takes me some time, but eventually I get it, and I don't just move. I'm definitely not like a risk taker. So everything's very cautious. And I tread lightly. I remember somebody saying to me that, yeah, I wait too long to move in business. But that is like that is still my thing as a business owner. Oh, Marie. Oh, thank you, Marie. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Good to know, Marie. Thank you. Thanks, Marie. I'm going to definitely use your help. I love all my community, my people, my family, helping me with this. I've definitely been supported. And so, yeah, that is where I'm at. So today we've just kind of moving. I've been playing with him. He's been drawing. He's right now having his lunch break watching a movie, because that's what we did last time he was homesick, and I set him up and he didn't interrupt me. And so that's different, right? But because I had laid the groundwork and the foundation for, like, hey, this is when mommy works and this is what it looks like. What do you want to do? Or can we agree that this is what it'll look like? And mommy's in her office, and if you need something, yes, interrupt me, let me know. Say, mommy, this or whatever. I don't know. We just kind of role played a little bit. I asked him what he thought. And I waited until like he understood, and he did. That day he didn't interrupt me. So today we're going to see if he honors kind of our code. And I was even thinking about that, like there being a word for him to just be like, okay, mommy's going to work, but she'll get back to me. I was like, is there a word I can come up with? I really like that idea. Because he and we just have our thing, and I've had it with him since he was a baby born. Baby born into this world, and immediately we connected, and I knew that he was just as deep as I was. And so I've always had a language with him. And so anyway, yeah, I feel like we could come up with a code word when it's like, okay, mommy's not able to talk, but he knows he's loved, and that mommy will be right with him when I'm back. Oh, I know, Marie. I know. I can't wait. Can't wait to see you. I'll get all my questions together, because I have plenty. But yeah, I have my first call with my homeschool teacher today. And so I hadn't known really anything. I've kind of been waiting to just hear everything she's got to tell me as a first timer. And yeah, and just kind of go from there. But again, like I said, as far as doing my homework prior to this, I've talked to other moms. I have been reading some blogs. There's one blog in particular I really like, and she's on YouTube too. So she's got both. And then that's how I found her, was on YouTube. And then I've been reading the inbound messages about like, hey, you're starting homeschool. This is how it's going to be. And this is where you put your grades. I don't know. Anyway, there's so many Google Docs. I'm just like, wow, okay, it's on. This is real. How do I organize myself? So last night I organized my folders. I'm like, okay, if they send me this, I'm going to put it here. Da, da, da. I need to think like that. This is how I need to get organized immediately. Otherwise, I feel scattered in chaos and just, it's a nightmare to be in my head in those days. So, and I will say this. So we are coming off of a water moon. And so it's been extra heavy for me. We're in Aries, so fire. So I think when we go from a water moon, so we were in Pisces the last 3 days, and I felt it. And it was just like, oh, so heavy. I'm so like down about things. And how am I not going to drown? Really is kind of what it is. It's just like, it's really forcing us to rest. But then life doesn't stop for us just because the moon is in Pisces. Life doesn't stop. We keep going. But at the same time, we can regulate ourselves. So I'll be honest, yesterday, instead of working, I got a massage, because what I said to myself was, what does a CEO do right now? Because you have been up against it like the last several weeks. And your body is now starting to tell you that it's a problem. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, because I feel really crickety and tight and it's starting to get to me. They're both communicating. It's too much. So I got a massage, and then everything has been slow since. And yeah. And I was just like, I thought, if I can get through the first half of this week, which was a lot every day, if I can get through the first half of this week, I'm okay. I'll be okay. And I did. And so I was like, okay, that proves I'll be okay. You just got to give yourself these pep talks every now and again, and sometimes do them out loud so your kids can hear you. Talk to yourself about really good things, and reframing your self-talk towards something that's more empowering. I want my boys to hear that, me reframing some negative things that I might be telling myself about what I can and can't do, what I'm incapable of, what my ego might want to tell me, just so that I can stay in, not rock the boat, or not move things, not make things, not change too much too fast. But in reality, the last month, or this month alone, has moved very fast. And you know what? I'm still here. And I'm doing it, and we are doing it. And every day, I think it gets lighter and easier and better. And yeah, and all the while, I'm taking my breaths. I'm taking my inhales and my exhales. I'm doing it with my boys. I catch myself more frequently, more quickly when I start to feel like the rise of tension. I am like, okay, I'm doing too much. Hands off. It's kind of like heads up, 7 up. So just stop everything. And what are you doing? Okay. What needs to be done? What can you remove, or what can you put off? What can you be less perfectionist about and simplify it down to like the bare minimum, good is good enough product? And I'm like, okay, that I choose that. Let's do what still feels very congruent with my work and my integrity and my truth, and go with that, right? As without the bells and whistles, without all the other stuff that if you had more time you would do. Just go with you. And that's how I've just had to lead. And everything, I was worried up until the moment that it happened. And it's just like, believe as far as manifestation, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop sitting and worry. And I'm going to completely transmute the worry into something that I would rather have happen, which is I'm going to walk into this meeting with these teachers, and I'm going to say this is our last day, and whatever. It wasn't confrontational by any means. I'm just saying, into this meeting that I was prepared for and waiting for, and finally it's here. I'm walking in, and water moon, I was kind of flooded with emotions, but I managed to not cry or whatever. But I was sad for him to leave that school. But he was so happy. I mean, he was going in the class, he was going in the school like, it's my last day, telling everybody. So yeah, the cat was out of the bag early with him because of him. Anywho, so let bring me back to Taryn's question. How do you lighten your mental load so you don't lose your beep on your kids every day because you're so tired? I think I kind of was talking about it a lot. Thank you. It will be the best for him. I really trust that. Thank you. I got my little vote of confidence there. And so anyway, the mental load, what I feel like as far as the mental load goes, especially as I'm moving into becoming a homeschooling mompreneur, I'm just like adding titles, guys. It's like nonstop. But this is the point. I was on a call this morning for YouTube growth. It's a YouTube growth strategy call. And I just listened. Today, I didn't even ask any questions. My YouTube is growing really slow, guys. Okay. And there are times when I'm thinking like, okay, everyone else is growing really fast. And I know they're doing all the tricks, the algorithm tricks, the things that grow them faster and do the researching. What I'm doing is putting out content that I just really am passionate about talking about. And I just need that to be what it is right now. I need it to work this way. And why I think manifestation is so big as far as part of my strategy is because I know that if I tell myself that this will work, however I do it, it will work. There's no way around this working. And I do feel like I'm starting all over again because my business before was a book-based, blog-based business. So my coaching clients came out from that, and I was on podcasts, interviewed, media, all that stuff. And so the word was getting out. Then I had my babies. That things were just like, okay, if you're already a client, already a member, we're still working together. And it was kind of like just skating by with referral, word of mouth. Now I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily want to blog, podcast, or what was the other thing I did? Blog, podcast. Oh, and write another book right now. I want to do YouTube. I want to do YouTube. And I had never done YouTube only. It's only been repurposed content to YouTube. So I felt myself like a new channel in a way. I wasn't a new channel, but new made for YouTube content as of over a year ago, 2 months over a year ago. And I am feeling like, okay, well, other people are posting just as much as I am. They're growing really fast, but I don't really know. I'm just assuming because I'm not going to do the deep dive on their channels because the point is for me to put my attention, what time I do have, onto my passion work, what I do. It's not to compare myself with other people. If I go down the comparison trap, how much time am I wasting comparing myself to other people, analyzing other people's content when I'm just a new channel? And the point is for me in the beginning, our early day goals here in any kind of broadcast format is to trust ourselves, refine our messaging, clarify our offers, our message, who we're serving, our audience, right? And I did a big pivot in my business. So all of that is a little bit newly fleshed out. It's not the general public. It's not, anyway, I won't go into the past. The point is, I pivoted my avatar quite a bit, but I didn't pivot on my philosophy and my purpose and what I'm talking about. Really, I'm just applying this idea of decluttering from the inside out. Really, to put it plainly, that's what my message has always been, to motherhood, to business. I'm a broken record as far as business goes. I have the Minimalist Entrepreneur Club. We talk about minimizing the hustle, really, and maximizing the flow of life, the flow of your business, the flow of your everyday. And then now it's, okay, how do we flow in and out of our roles? Because I think on a daily basis, we're transitioning from mom to entrepreneur. As a mompreneur, if you're a working person, to your home life, you're toggling from that. If you're work from home, especially, I think that's primarily what I'm kind of speaking to. You're going in and out. You kind of will do some laundry, and then you will go take a break. You will go check email or whatever your work consists of. Get on a call, a client call. Do your hotline, your live on Thursday, every Thursday, noon Pacific. And, you're kind of building your life around these staples that mean a life well lived. That means the business isn't running you. That means you run your business how you want to run your business, on your terms, in your time, and in a way that doesn't compromise or take away from the energy you have left for your kids. At least that's how I'm designing my business. My energy output, because it's my priority role, is on my kids. My energy output is reserved for my kids primarily. That is what priorities mean. When you set priorities, you mean my attention, my time, and my energy is going to this thing most of all, above and beyond other things. That's what you're doing when you prioritize. And so everything comes then a close second, and then third, fourth, fifth, right? And that's the way it is. And I just kind of like manage that. If I'm starting to burn out on my priority energy output, then I know something else it needs to fall in line, figure itself out. I need to co-create with God on how it will start to flesh out. And this is me. That's where I will literally, while I'm worrying about something like the meeting yesterday, I see it happening really perfectly. I see it happening in my mind's eye. I see it playing out where, it's nothing but understanding, it's kindness, it's thorough, it's everything I waited for. It ends up being a beautiful, beautiful day. And that is exactly what happened. I walked away wanting to thank, really in my heart, wanting to thank over 7 people. Like I've sent thank you cards because of the way that they've impacted my journey. And so, and that's just in the school. That's not even people who in my close circle that deserve a thank you card for me, that will be getting one. Because these kind of milestone moments, when you are present with them, then you lead with, gratitude and love and kindness, and nothing else really can get in the way of those predominant feelings, because you're letting the divine flow be higher, louder, richer, bolder, right? That's leading you. And so that's how I've just been leading, right? With love. And then everything kind of follows there. Finding my patience really is me taking my breath in and out, being present, doing what I need to do, having my whole week thrown off yet again, going from meeting to meeting. I mean, things when I talk about, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to publish it to YouTube, and it's going to be about this week. We're not at Friday yet. So I'm literally going to take you Monday through Friday of my week, and how intense any point in your life, if you look at the intensity of any moment in your life and recognize I'm getting through it, in the moment, after the moment, whatever, you're getting through it and you're okay. This is proof. This is more confirmation that you have what it takes to do this, and that everything's going to be okay. And it will all fall in your favor, and whatever else sounds good. And one thing that Neville Goddard teaches us is to act in the wish fulfilled. And so that's a manifestation technique. Act as if the wish is fulfilled. So when I'm telling myself this meeting is going to go smoothly, I'm going into the meeting knowing, like self-fulfilling prophecy, I'm going in and saying, this is how it's going to be. And that is how it is. It absolutely works that way, guys. And if you don't believe it, trust yourself enough to try it. Please, I implore you to try it. Just like they say in The Secret, he was talking about, do a small little test of, I'm going to get a parking spot when I pull up at the mall at Christmas time. That's probably a big one. But I'm going to get a parking spot at the mall in the deadest season of the year. Okay, done, easy. And then you start, upping the ante with like, okay, I'm going to find a parking spot at this restaurant at happy hour, things like that, right? So anyway, it's good to play this way because otherwise, what are you filling the time with? Worrying about it. The self-fulfilling prophecy is happening anyway. What you're telling yourself is happening anyway. If you imagine the worst, if you prepare for the worst, if you are operating as if only the worst will happen because this is what you're thinking on loop, and it's just repeating in your head, and this is your self-talk, that nothing goes your way, when it rains it pours, gosh, it's snowballing, whatever people say. I don't even like using those things because it's such a low vibration. I immediately feel my whole physiology like fall, plummet if I talk to myself that way. And so we don't want to talk to ourselves that way. When it rains, it pours, everything's just kind of this and that, because how much do your shoulders slump when you think those things? So immediately think something more empowering so that your body can start to act more empowered. First the belief, then the behavior. So I'm choosing to believe less limiting thoughts this year. If you've been caught up with me, we talked about in October, that my goal for this new year was like to stop living in lack, like stop thinking in lack. It really does begin there with our thoughts, the mindset work. And I realize I'm keeping myself in lack and scarcity after all these years of working on this stuff, being this, spiritual teacher. I'm being that, but then I'm still like, okay, still struggling with scarcity and lack. Okay, so I want to turn my attention on that. And so I upped the dial of my attention, my focus, my energy. I made it a priority to focus on how I'm thinking that's keeping me stuck in lack. And so it's those things like, when it rains, it pours. This week has been so rough. Instead, literally changing that to, I got this. And it feels weird. It feels foreign. It feels strange. It feels dumb to tell myself that. And then at the same time, it's everything I would tell my child. So why wouldn't I tell my inner child? Why wouldn't I tell myself, who needs to hear it right now? Why wouldn't I tell myself those things? And immediately my mood lifts, my shoulders lift, right? A weight is dropped, and I'm like, okay, I have what it takes again. I can do this. I can go another 2 miles before I need a rest stop. And then I'll go another 2 miles. And then maybe after the next rest stop, depending on what time of the month it is, however long that rest stop is, then I'll be even that further ahead, right? Ready to keep going. Maybe next time it'll be 4 miles at a time before the next rate. It's not like a race. It's not a competition between the doing and the non-doing. The balance is in having both in equal parts across kind of whatever period you say. If you are thinking because you're barely surviving, it's a day-to-day thing. You want to daily be moving in and out of this conscious awareness, or no, you want to be moving consciously aware of the doing and the non-doing, right? That's the daily work. And then as you start to have to take a breath to come back to center, then it's like, okay, I can go longer with this kind of level of calm because I'm keeping up with my energy, how I'm recouping my energy, re-energizing, coming back into my body when I'm stuck in my head. And this is, all happening daily, but it's become habit to where it doesn't take as much energy output or conscious cognition of like the transitioning. Because right now, transitioning from mom to entrepreneur is a lot going into a homeschooling day, which is why I had to definitely lighten the load today. lighten the load on myself as to what is required of me today. I have the hotline. I have just connecting with him on his first homeschooling day. This is a big deal. I want him to, you know, enjoy it. I want him to know that it's something that he can help me design. And I want him to know that I don't know. I just want him to know that I listened to him, that he wasn't happy at that school. So, you know, I listened and we made it happen. We did it. We're here. We're homeschooling. We're doing this. I don't think he ever expected homeschooling, but I personally want that to be our first route before we go like right back into the public school system. I mean, even private school system, I'm just like the institution of it in any way, shape, or form, any way you look at it, any direction you throw it, it is something that the influence is enough out of my purview that I'm just uncomfortable with it. And so, yes, I'm a control freak. I thought I had let go of my control freakness, but apparently I haven't, because once I became a mom, I'm like super control freak. And so this is just yet another area in my life that the universe is like, okay, we're going to work on your control issues. You ready? You ready, Yvette? You ready to work on your control issues? Control is a form of clutter, y'all, if you haven't known. So we're working through that. But anyway, I wanted to connect with him. And so he has been talking about karate, because that's how mommy said it the first time she said it, because she likes to make funny jokes. And so now he says, karate, can we do karate? And then we did it. We found a YouTube video and put it on his new iPad. And he was like, okay, he was into it. He even wrote so then he goes off from karate, but he was into his session. So he stayed through it. And this, I got to give that creator props on YouTube. I think it's Dojo. I forget Dojo, but if you look it up, you'll probably see, because I'm sure he's a prolific creator at this point, because he's got an app and all that. But anyway, so I considered the app. So it was well done as far as advertising to me, this homeschooling mom, because even shout out homeschooling moms. If you're a homeschooling parent and you want them to learn martial arts, there's this whole app that will help them. Anyway, so smart dude. Anyway, so I'm watching this video and he is doing it. My son is doing all the karate moves and listening and speaking back. And I'm like, okay, so we knew we were going to do karate. I just thought I was going to wait for an in-person class, but it turns out we can do both. We can start with the iPad and he can watch it and get into it. He went from that, finishing that, not even turning off the guy, so letting him still play. Then he went to his paper and started writing his karate manual. He knows how to write karate now. He built a little instruction manual. Then we went to cooking noodles. So we cut out noodles and curled them. And so he learned that. And then we made fake soup or whatever, spaghetti. We learned how to say spaghetti. Got a little frustrated there, a little bit. Spaghetti wasn't coming out quite right, but we quickly remedied that. And spaghetti it's now like a vocab word. But honestly, all at his pace. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm not mad. This is good. And I'm getting confirmation after confirmation that this is right. And I'm happy about it. But anyway, I wanted to go into the mental load. So as far as the mental load and managing the mental load when you've got a lot on your plate, it is really about reducing the things that have your attention and that you've deemed as important. And it might take a journaling session to let it all out. I know for me, especially on a water moon, I can't sleep. And so if you're tracking yourself and you're just noticing these little things, as far as I go, as far as simplifying things down with the moon, it's not a big deal. It's just, I just noticed that we do this all month long. We do. And perimenopause, menopause, whatever, and beyond, I don't know, but it is postpartum and beyond, like it it is a thing to just kind of like notice your cycle so that you don't feel like a crazy insane person. And going with the cycles have really helped me. And so noting just what sign the moon is in, because I need to know the element. I want to know the element. I want to know which phase the moon is in. So because the element speaks to like just kind of the overall tone and the mood and the flow of like my natural biology and physiology and the cells in my body, what wavelength they might be on, right? And so making sure my mind is also recognizing and not sabotaging my natural desire to move with the flow of the divine, which is nature and God, universe, cosmos, everything, right? And so the moon moves the tides, right? So we that water, this is all flow, right? You get this symbology, and I just want to make sure that my mind is kind of looped into what's happening. And so that helps me be like, okay, it's a water moon. Okay. And I notice this in hindsight. I don't necessarily go into every day recognizing the moon. I kind of do it after the fact. So if I notice like, oh, today's so heavy, instead of getting down on myself and be like, oh, get some balls, get through it. You got this. I'm like, okay, this might be a rest moment. Open up the app. Yeah, water moon. And then it's like, okay, permission to take my foot off the gas and go with the flow of life. And for me, that was a massage yesterday. And it was a walk, like an extra long walk one morning. Like I said, these are the last 3 days. We're now in a fire moon. So if you feel pumped and ready to go and, who cares about it yesterday? Let's go, let's move. Then, that's why. But I would say that I have a little bit of like sleepless nights if I'm facing a lot of like big, heavy decisions. And trust me, big, heavy decisions are being made, have been made, are just have yet to be made in this week alone. And I couldn't sleep. So what I do is I'll get up instead of tossing and turning or trying to watch something. Please don't turn on the phone. Don't do that to your eyes and then wake yourself completely up. So I would just journal to my Himalayan night lamp. It's super low light, but just, calming still and enough light to journal. And I'm not even worried about how my writing comes out. It's just like, I need to vent. I need to talk to myself, God, and commune with the stars about like, what is up and what are you feeling? And it helps every single time. I will say that after, a few pages, I am yawning and tired and ready to go back to sleep. So I don't have to, stay up all night because I just can't sleep. I have techniques to manage it because I recognize that that's just part of, the phase of life I'm in. And so I'm definitely using all of my tools like that. And I think too, stretching, foam rolling, I will say that's when I knew I needed to get a massage. Was a foam roll session was necessary. And I even did the foam rolling session before the massage. That's how like crucial I was, just kind of like in a ball of tension. And as much as I was doing my breath and all that stuff, like the body kind of needed help to release too. And so there's kind of this fleshly body that just needs the release. It's the calm of the moment in which you are doing said thing that's meditative and connective with yourself, connecting mind with body, letting mind recognize body, body recognize mind, and yeah, just getting recentered, realigned with what is. And what I noticed in my massage yesterday was that we really do carry, so you've heard, I'm sure if you have been in yoga, that we carry our emotions in our hips. And that's because the hips support the heart and the shoulders support the head. And so the shoulders have all the tension from the thoughts and the thinking, the linear thinking, the logical processing, the trying to put it all together, trying to make it make sense. And then meanwhile, if you're neglecting the heart, then the burden starts to go into the hips. And so they're both doing this work, and you're misaligned on any given day if you're not really recognizing what your thoughts are doing to the body and how it's kind of manifesting itself as dis-ease, discomfort, even discord, right? In your family, in your household. It can cause conflict, right? You're conflicted inside your body. Your body's not even getting what it needs, let alone the people outside of you, your community, the company you keep, your household, your family. And so it really does start from within, and it works its way out, and it starts with you. And yeah, nothing works if you are not okay, if you're not thinking you're okay, if you don't believe you're okay, if you're not operating as if you're okay, if you don't look at your body and love it and spend time connecting with it, right? And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's a big self-care shout out. I'm going to go through my notes here because I know we have some more time. And make sure that I'm answering Taryn's question. Okay, so I did write a little note here. So part of the mental load is that, okay, I'm just going to read it as I wrote it because sometimes I just like freestyle these notes, and we just work it out together live. So what I was able to jot down as far as her question goes was part of the mental load is that you are distracted by what you'd rather be doing because you didn't set up a business that supports you being a mom. And you don't realize that until you're forced to slow down. And usually we're forced to slow down as entrepreneurs turned moms during maternity leave. We're definitely forced to slow down just in general, hands down, across the board, no matter what you do for a living. You're forced to slow down on maternity leave and bond with this baby and be there with this baby, be there for this baby. And really, honestly, what's happening is you're imprinting on this baby. And so you're influencing this baby's physiology and the development of their brain. And the time that you spend making that important will reap dividends for you in the relationship department with your kids, because you are establishing a connection with your child during these precious 3 months, if that's all you got for maternity leave. One, if you're nursing, that's a bonding moment. If you are playing, teaching, right, showing black and white images and things like that, whatever you're doing to bond with your baby, you are doing it out of love. And you want the best for this baby. You want to soak up all the moments with this baby. You want to just cherish every precious moment, every smile, every coo, every caw. You want to be there with the poop, knowing the color, maybe making sure everything's okay. I mean, it's really an investment of time, energy, money, attention, everything is on this baby, right? Well, that's why we're forced to slow down. It really demands having a newborn demands you slowing down. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're not so slow as much as we might think we are. We still have a lot on our plate. We still have a lot of demands on our time, a lot of expectations for ourselves. We challenge ourselves on the regular, right? Instead of maybe giving into just resting, we're doing too much, whatever it is. You don't realize, until you're now, okay, with baby, that, whoa, this is a lot of work, and I need to give myself the time and the space to make this now my priority. And so everything has to shift, right? Everything that was first is now not second. It's third, fourth, it's last. And, you just want to be present and cognizant of that and honor it. Definitely don't fight your maternal instincts, especially during those 3 months, as much as you can, because you really want to get to know those instincts and hone those instincts. And sometimes on maternity leave, you recognize that the value that you slowing down has given your life with your baby is so important, is so rich, is so invaluable that you're dreading going back to work, right? And so if we're moving into dreading our business in whatever way, then we definitely have not created a business, a system, something that moves without us, right? Something that will that we can check in on as we have the time, as we have those few 20 minutes here and there to check in, make sure things are working. Then no, you didn't have a business set up for you to go on maternity leave or whatever. Especially if you're a sole proprietor and you know, are doing everything yourself. You don't have a team. You don't have tech in place to support the things that have to happen on a day-to-day basis for your business to run and for you to make money. It's not too late, though. There are some things you could do within maternity leave to effectively give your business, keep your business afloat, give it a boost, whatever. Scale strategically. I wouldn't say work on that predominantly, unless that's kind of where your business was leading to. That's the momentum of your business. So then scaling is no problem because it already was kind of set up to scale. Then it's no problem. But it's definitely not what you're thinking if you're like starting your business or if you're pivoting in your business, if you're shifting whatever in whatever kind of way your focus in your business. It's definitely not a time to think about like adding volume to something that needs its systems readjusted, because you are going to walk yourself into a job, another job where you work for the man and you're not you're not the grandmaster of your own day. And that's what you want to be. Without systems in place, without the emotional, the physical support in place, then you are without adopting a simple mindset around what business is also in place, then yeah, it's an uphill battle for sure. And but it's doable. It is definitely working those things out and coming back to the basics in your business. So if you're on maternity leave and you're thinking about starting a business, this is a great time. If you don't already have a business and you're a mom turned entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur, then this is a great time to start a business on maternity leave, because there is a way to go about it so that what you're setting up is something that you love to do and your business reflects your creative passion, your creative flair and excitement in life and all the things that you want to fulfill in this lifetime alongside raising your kids. Just because you're a mother doesn't mean you're no longer anything else. You're absolutely still everything else that you were before this child was born. And now it's like, okay, well, now I've got to juggle both. But there is a way to, have everything start to just work together instead of against each other. And anyway, that is my plug for the the Mastermind. Well, the Minimalist Entrepreneur Club for sure. That is, but then on the mom side of things, as a mom, the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms, it's definitely designed probably for the homeschooling mom at this point. And this thing I want to definitely leave you guys with, this little note, is that I know when I'm at my best. This is important for you guys to do too. When are you at your best? When do you just feel like, oh man, I'm just vibing, my kids love me, the food I put down is healthy, all four food groups, my clients are happy, great sessions all day long, passive income flowing, and notification after notification in my email, my bank accounts just through the roof, and beyond, right? That's sky's the limit from there. I know when I'm at my best in that place of flow, I am calm, I'm centered, I'm grounded, I'm calm, cool, collected. And I know that everything else can't happen until and unless I am calm. And so my best work is when I'm calm. And you access clarity when you're calm. You access truth when you come back to, relaxed nervous system, something that's just able to keep at bay the intrusive thoughts and the competing beliefs that might want to deprive you of presence and peace right now in this moment because it's spent worried about everything else and scared and terrified and doubting and second guessing and fearfully moving through life, clenching your butt because, you just are bracing yourself for every bad thing to happen. I mean, geez, of course, what's your body going to look like after 10 days of that, let alone a lifetime. And so, anyway, I know that the quickest way for me to come back to my calm is through my breath. It's like, so today I was just breathing through breakfast. I was breathing because I'm doing every meal now. So breathing through breakfast, we always did breakfast together, but breathing through breakfast, breathing through like a new routine of getting dressed up and at 'em, okay, out of bed. Breathing through even just managing kind of, you do this, mommy, and play with me here, play with me that. And there's like, for sure, we are going to do that. Mommy's going to play with you. When you do something else though, and you're not playing with mommy because you are off doing something else and you are supposed to be playing with mommy over here, mommy's going to go do her thing until you come back. So I'm still like letting him do his thing and go with his whim today, because that's the point of today, his first homeschooling day, is to just find his own flow, and so that we can find where we meet. And trust me, we've done a lesson or two on math, science. We did numbers, we cooked. I mean, there's been a lot of lessons in just these everyday moments. I'm using them all. Any chance I can get, I'm fitting in a lesson. Not, I know that sounds really aggressive. That it's not what I mean. It's when I'm calm and present, I find if there's an opportunity, and I recognize the difference. There's time just to observe and be and not say a thing, and then there's the time to kind of chime in and help the cognition, the development of the brain. There's a time to fit in a fun fact. There's a time to sing a song, dance, play, giggle, laugh, completely ignore the work and find and go outside. There's time for all that. And it happens, it's so fast, right? This is all kind of happening so fast throughout the day that if you're not maintaining your calm, not staying present, not staying clear-headed, then yeah, you can quickly miss those chances, miss those opportunities, and then feel as though you still have to do that on top of this. I still have to make a moment to do this. I still have to carve out this time to do this lesson with them, when, well, you just spent the last 20 minutes playing and learning about bears, and that was your science lesson for the day. Who knows? I don't know. That's how I'm saying it. But my cousin, who also homeschools, just hopped on. We're talking homeschooling, but I'm not on here for long because I'm coming to my hour mark. But yeah, this is what I would recommend, and how we come into this life, which is going with our flow. We're hungry, we cry, we poop, somebody takes care of it. We we fall asleep whenever we want, wake up whenever we want. And this is what we do. And so it's not like it stops along the way. It's not like I'm an adult and I don't have that natural flow to me where, if I'm tired, I might need to just step away from the computer. If I am thirsty, I need to get some water. And so see how those aren't distractions. So recognize the distraction from just your natural health, like the way that what your body needs from you. There's a difference. And so don't deny kind of the base. I don't know. I don't want to go there with it. What do I want to say? Don't deny yourself the connection with yourself. And in any moment, you could be doing that. You could be connecting with yourself. You could be going within, breathing, calming yourself, centering yourself, and then going back out there, right? And for what's next. And imagine that person facing a challenge. They took the time to calm center themselves before they were in the midst of the chaos. And so they've got a perspective, an arm's length distance at the problem in order to see a solution, to not be under the problem. They've got the perspective, right? Because they took that time. And so all throughout the day, you want to be taking that time to gain some perspective, to gain some distance from the problem, to breathe the ground and center, all throughout the day. It's not something you push off to after work. It's all throughout the day. You don't not drink water. It's just like that. You drink water throughout the day. And so anyway, that's what I'm working on this week as our first homeschooling day. And yeah, so got to get back to him. We got to get, back on track here. He trusts that this was an hour, and I told him that. And so I'm going to get back to being my homeschooling mom. So here I'm going to sign out here. I'm going to take my breath, calm, ground, center, and then check in with him, see what he needs. Definitely not have him watch more TV than we agreed upon. And yeah, see what else is up for today. So I'll keep you guys posted. See you next week, Thursday, 12 noon Pacific. Submit your question at clarityhotline.com. If you're interested about the mastermind and enrolling in that, it's an application process. You book some time with me. We talk, we see if we're a good fit, and then you can join us in the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms if this is something that you're interested in. Hey, maybe you are a homeschooling mom and wanting to start a business. And so we're doing that. We're doing that in the 6 months together. All right. Peace. See you next week. Bye, Instagram. All right. And bye, YouTube.